Welcome. This is video number 206, multiple linear regression analysis. In this video, I'll compare the simple linear regression model with the multiple regression analysis, which is of the form y is a function of x1 up to xk. And let us talk about the parallels with the simple regression. Beta naught is still the intercept. Beta 1 up to beta k are called slope parameters. Ui is the error term. We still need to make a zero conditional mean assumption, so now assume that expected value of u given x1 up to xk equals 0, and we still need to minimize the sum of squared residuals, so to have k plus 1 first order conditions. Y hat is equal to beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat up to beta k hat xk. This is the estimated regression equation. Delta y hat is equal to delta beta 1 hat x1 plus delta beta 2 hat x2 up to delta beta k hat xk. So holding x2 up to xk fixed implies that delta y hat is equal to delta beta 1 hat xy, that is, each beta has a ceteris paribus interpretation. Consider the case where k is equal to 2, then we have this model, and beta 1 hat is equal to summation ri hat yi divided by summation ri hat square, where r I1 hat are the residuals from the estimated regression. Previous equation implies that regressing y on x1 and x2 gives same effect of xy as regressing y on residuals from a regression of y of x1 and x2, and this means only part of xi1 that is uncorrelated with xi2 are being related to y1, so we are estimating the effect of x1 on y after x2 has been parceled out. Compare the simple regression model y tilde is equal to beta naught tilde plus beta 1 tilde x1 with the multiple regression y hat is equal to beta naught hat beta 1 hat x1 plus beta 2 hat x2. Generally, beta 1 tilde does not equal beta 1 hat unless beta 2 is equal to 0. We can think of each observation as being made up of an explained part and an unexplained part. So the total sum of square is equal to explained sum of square plus residual sum of square. How do we think about how well our sample regression line fits our sample data? For this, we can compute the r squared, which is equal to explained sum of square divided by total sum of square. We can also think of r square as being equal to the squared correlation coefficient between the actual yi and the values of yi hat given by this formula. R square can never decrease when another independent variable is added to a regression and usually will increase. It means if we add more independent variable to a regression model, the value of the value of r squared will increase, because r squared will usually increase with the number of independent variables. It is not a good way to compare models on the basis of r squared, but we may compare them with adjusted r squared. Population model is a linear in parameters. We can use a random sample of size n, xi1 up to xik, yi, where I varies from 1 to n from the population model, so that the sample model is given by this equation. The expected value of u given x1, x2 up to xk is equal to 0, which implies that all of the explanatory variables are exogenous. None of the x is constant, and there are no exact linear relationships among the x variables. What happens if we include variables in our specification that do not belong? There is no effect on our parameter estimate, and OLS remains unbiased. But what if we exclude a variable from our specification that does belong? In that case, OLS will be biased, and this may be due to endogeneity or simultaneity. Omitted variable wise, suppose the true model is given by this equation, but we estimate y tilde is equal to beta naught tilde plus beta 1 tilde plus x1 plus u. Then beta 1 tilde is equal to summation xi1 minus x bar 1 into yi divided by summation xi1 minus x1 bar square. Recall that the true model is this, so that the numerator becomes like this, and beta tilde is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 and whole lot of this. Since expected value of ui is equal to 0, so taking expectation, we have expected value of the beta 1 tilde is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 and so on. So this means that the expected value of beta 1 tilde is not equal to the true beta, but this is more than that. Consider the regression of x2 and x1. X2 tilde is equal to sigma 0, sigma naught tilde plus sigma 1 tilde x1, then sigma 1 tilde is equal to this, so that expected value of beta tilde is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 sigma 1 tilde. This is the summary of direction of bias. One is a positive bias when beta 2 is greater than 0, and then there is a negative bias. Similarly, when beta 2 is less than 0, there is a negative bias when correlation of x1 x2 is positive, and positive bias when correlation between x1 and x2 is negative. Two cases where bias is equal to 0, beta 2 is equal to 0, that is x2 doesn't really belong in the model. X1 and X2 are uncorrelated in the sample. If correlation between X2, X1 and X2 and Y is the same direction, bias will be positive. If correlation between X2, X1 and X2, Y is the opposite direction, bias will be negative. Technically, we can only sign the bias for the more general case if all of the included X's are uncorrelated. We work through the bias assuming that X's are uncorrelated as a useful guide, even if this assumption is not strictly true. Variance of the OLS estimation. We know that the sampling distribution of our estimate is centered around the true parameter. We want to think about how spread out this distribution is. It is much easier to think about this variance under an additional assumption. So we assume variance of u given x1, x2 up to xk is equal to sigma square, and that is the homozydastic case. Let x stands for x1, x2 up to xk, and assuming that variance of u given x is equal to sigma square, this also implies that variance of y given x is also equal to sigma square. The four assumptions of unbiasedness plus this homozydasticity assumption are known as the Gauss-Markov assumptions. Given the Gauss-Markov assumption, the variance of beta j hat is equal to sigma square divided by total sum of square into 1 minus r square, where total sum of square is equal to summation xij minus xj square, and rj square is the r square from regression of xj and all other x's. The error variance. A larger sigma square implies a larger variance for the OLS estimator. The total sample variation. A larger total sum of square implies a sample variance for the estimator. Linear relationships among independent variables. A larger R square j implies a larger variance of the estimators. Consider again the misspecified model, where y tilde is equal to beta naught tilde plus beta 1 tilde xi, so that variance of beta 1 tilde is equal to sigma square divided by total sum of square. Therefore, variance of beta 1 hat of beta 1 tilde is less than variance of beta 1 hat. Unless x1 and x2 are uncorrelated, then they are the same. While the variance of the estimator is smaller for the misspecified model, unless beta 2 is equal to 0, the misspecified model is biased. As the sample size increases, the variance of each estimator shrinks to 0, making the variance difference less important. Estimating the error variance. We do not know what error variance sigma square is because we don't observe the error term ui. What we observe are the residuals ui hat or ei, and we can use these residuals to form an estimate of the variance. This is error variance estimate sigma hat square, and that is equal to regression sum of square divided by degrees of freedom. Thus, standard error of beta j hat is equal to sigma hat divided by total sum of square into 1 minus r square raised to the power 1 by 2, df the degrees of freedom. Given our 5 Gauss-Markov assumption, it can be shown that OLS is blue, where B stands for best, L stands for linear, U stands for unbiasedness, and E stands for estimator. Thus, if the assumptions hold, use OLS for estimation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very easily understandable video on multiple linear regression model as compared to simple linear regression model. I hope you understand it. What is the concept? How we interpret the results? How can we compare the correctly specified model and the misspecified model, and the difference between the simple linear regression model and the multiple linear regression model. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, kindly do subscribe, and do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get information about my other informative videos that I'll upload for you soon. I thank you very much for watching this video.